Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led instead by the dreams in your heart. That was Roy T. Bennett that said that. And I discovered this wise man in 2021 when I was going through the most treacherous journey of my life. But more about that a bit later. Allow me to introduce myself, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thato Mabelane, and I am a South African, and I was born and raised in a tiny town called Tembisa in the east of Johannesburg. In English, that is the Promised Land. But if you know our history as South Africans, we don't actually own that land. It was stolen by Caucasians many years ago. So I want to talk to you today about the power of the human spirit, and that you can achieve just about anything that you put your mind to. And how you actually achieve that is by formulating affirmations and writing down exactly what it is that you want to achieve, so that you can have that as your North Star, right? Have that as something that, oh, I am going towards this and I will achieve that. Okay, so when I was 14 years old, I discovered a sport called rowing. I fell madly in love with the sport. I was very good at it for some reason, and when I was 16, my coach actually suggested that I try out for the national selection trials. And everybody around me kept on saying, there's no way you can achieve that, because you actually have to have a boat before you can actually row for the country. And I didn't sanction that, because my mom taught me whatever that it is that you put your mind to, you can achieve. And by the time I was 19 years old, I had green and gold blazer, and I was rowing for our country. Fast forward to 7 years ago, when I was selected to row across the Atlantic Ocean with a multinational crew. I remember we left Gran Canaria towards the West Indies, and our goal was to do the crossing in 31 days. So everybody in the crew knew that was the goal that we wanted to do. And we left Gran Canaria on the 20th of January, and it was storming, right? We had to leave in the highest storms because we wanted to move our boat quite fast through the water. And at that time, I had never been out at sea. And my skipper had asked me to lead the team. And I remember everybody coming around the marina. We saw swells of about 40, 60 meter swells, and my body just completely defied me. I shut down. My body completely defied me in the sense that I lost my voice. I could not speak. I could not eat. I could not drink for 4 days. And how do you then lead, ladies and gentlemen, without a voice? But because I had already established our goal as a team that we will cross safely to West Indies, which is Barbados, within 31 days. Everybody in the crew knew that was the mission. And with that 4 days when I couldn't speak, everybody knew their roles and what they had to do. Then I want to cast your eyes back to 2020, when I experienced something quite treacherous. At the end of lockdown and the world experiencing COVID-19, I was then diagnosed with breast cancer. Shock and horror. I remember thinking to myself, I could probably outrun this disease. I had to go through the entire process of chemotherapy for 6 months. I had to go through a bilateral mastectomy as well as radiation. And throughout the journey, ladies and gentlemen, I remember having my own hurdles towards my end goal, which is to beat the disease. I remember looking at myself in the mirror. I had no eyelashes. I had no eyebrows. I was sick. I had a disease living inside me. I had chemo just confiscating my hair everywhere. And I remember looking at myself every morning in the mirror and saying, this is temporary. You will beat this. And that was affirmation that I said to myself, and that built my resilience. Because during my journey, ladies and gentlemen, I actually went out and got myself a scuba diving license. Within 6 months of my chemotherapy, a month after chemotherapy, I qualified for the world's coastal rowing championships in Portugal. I was the third fastest athlete competing in those championships. I ended up not going, but the fact is, I was there. And that is just the power of the human spirit. Even with a disease, I was able to convince myself that I am the best. And I got onto the water and I achieved just that. What it is that you are trying to achieve in your organization, or what is it that you are trying to achieve in terms of innovation in your team or in your personal capacity, if you write it down and if you tell yourself affirmations, you can achieve just about anything. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thato Mabelane.